Hello, YouTube. It's me, John Avenger, once again, and welcome to the month of October. Yeah, it's the second day of October 2022. I'm wearing my orange shirt for the hot month of Halloween, so I'm going to Comic-Con in a couple of days, so I'll give you an update on that in a few days. But today is a review. We're in horror month. Yes, I don't know what to call this month. I'll probably label it later, but this is the month of horror, and we're doing horror. Today we're doing a American comedy horror film with horror elements based on a beloved show from the 1960s. Yes, you know it's coming, guys. Directed by the one and only Rob Zombie. Yes, this is to me the only good film he's done. Like, that was not some white trash movie. I'll say that right now. So, no matter what the critics say. I don't care what the critics say. It takes place prior to the events previously adapted from the show, serving as a reboot, an origin story for these characters. The film stars Jeff Daniel Phillips. I follow him on Twitter now because he was really cool about it. Sherry Moon Zombie, of course, because she's in every one of his films. And Daniel Roebuck as the titular family, with Sylvester McCoy as Igor and Richard Brake as Henry, Dr. Henry Augustus Wolfgang. The 2022 Netflix original film, The Munsters. Yes, come at me with your pitchforks and torches. I don't care, critics. You can kiss my ass. This is not one of the worst films of this past year. It's not. I laughed my ass off, considering that this is a director that does white trash movies, horror films where they're absolutely over the top, gory, very, very crass, and really, really mean-spirited. This is way better, because it's not that. He's getting out of his element and doing something comedic, something he's not used to doing. Hey, it's like if Christopher Nolan did a comedy. You'd be like, hey, he's supposed to do movies that are only artsy and dead serious. Well, sometimes you can do something different. Olivia Wilde's first film that she directed was a comedy. It wasn't some melodrama about teen angst. No, it was something different. It had some dramatic moments, but it was funny. This movie was funny. I laughed. Even my mom laughed, and she loves the show. And I thought the cast did really well. Sherry Moon Zombie, this is her best role. She's not a white trash slut here. She's very funny as Lily. You know why she does this? Because Lily did that in the freaking show. She talks like this and turns her head. That's from the show. Daniel Roebuck, he stole the show. He was fantastic as Grandpa Munster. He's not Al Lewis. He's not trying to be Al Lewis. He just does his own take, and he does a good job at it. He's very funny. He's like, oh, after you reach 300, you're 300 years old, the back goes out. That was the first joke, and it made me laugh. There's some stuff winking at the camera that doesn't work, but again, Zombie is not a comedic director, guys. Give him a break. Jeff Daniels Phillips was great as Herman. He's not going to ever be Fred Gwynne. This movie wasn't trying to be like the remake of Aladdin or the remake of The Lion King or the remake of Beauty and the Beast, where they do the exact same thing, but they do it with different actors doing different inflections and people that can't sing. So, of course, it's going to be worse. Here, it's a prequel to the TV show. They're mostly in Transylvania. The sets look amazing, by the way. The music and the sets and the practical effects look fantastic. Zombie has a really good visual style. I will say that about him. I will compliment him because I have not seen the remake of Halloween. I refuse to because John Carpenter did it better. Here, he nails the spirit of the show. It's cheap looking, sets like in the show, fog machines and practical effects. Yeah, there's some CGI that's shoddy, mainly some background stuff and some bats, but it doesn't look as bad as Morbius. This movie is way better. That movie had a bigger budget and it was shit. That movie bored me to death. This movie was much shorter. It's long, yes. It's about an hour and 40-some minutes. The budget, $5 million. That's it. They didn't need no $100 million like Red Notice or $200 million. With those movies, where did the money go? Seriously. On bad CGI effects like the freaking Bull or in The Gray Man where they're destroying an entire city, where did the money go? Here it's $5 million. Of course it's not going to look like Avatar. And I was fine with that. The neon lights, the Sonny and Cher reference, that made me laugh. The loving homage, not ripoff, homage to the 1930s, 40s, 50s, 60s monster movies of Universal, that was brilliant. I love that. They're winking at the audience saying, remember these movies from the past that are amazing? Yes, and I do remember them. I remember the creature from the Black Lagoon and Frankenstein and Dracula. I remember those movies. My mom has the Blu-ray set of the films, the classic monster movies. It's a nice homage, and it made me smile. I can't say that about a lot of Netflix stuff now. Most of the Netflix comedies are just gross, sexist, racist, unfunny, mean-spirited, and just like they're crass. They're not funny. Here, they don't have to curse every second to be funny. There's a couple of scenes they bleep it out because, the doctor that created Herman, goes on a talk show. Yeah, that's kind of funny. And he curses him out, but it's short. It doesn't drag on for 5 minutes like a Seltzer and Freeberg movie. The reviews were mixed. I think it's funny. It's not perfect. There's some jokes that do fall flat, but it has the spirit of the show. It says the main criticism being towards its length. This movie's not 2 hours, guys. It's only an hour and 40-some minutes. I didn't have to be like, oh God, can this movie just end already? No. That's The Gray Man. With that, it was almost 2 hours, and I felt it. Or the 355, where you have a bunch of women that some of them I do like, but the film is so long and boring and bloated and overly, freaking stuff that I don't know what's going on. Here, I knew what was going on. Perceived lack of a conflict. I'm like, what conflict? Herman meets Lily, she sees him on the TV, and the whole movie, Sherry Moon Zombie is just horny, and I get it. Jeff Daniel Phillips is a good looking guy. I mean, I saw him out of the makeup. He's 57 years old, and he's a good looking guy, and he's a good actor. He nails he has these crazy, expressive eyes that work perfect for Herman. And when he goes, oh boy, it's just like Frank Gwynn's performance, but a new take on it. It's not the same thing. It was different, and I liked it for that. And like I said, Daniel Roebuck as Grandpa Munster was fantastic. He made me laugh, and he's really the heart of the film. He really is the centerpiece of it because he's the main Munster that doesn't change throughout the whole movie. And also, where's Eddie and Eddie's not born yet because this is before Herman and Lily get have sex and after they're married. And have Eddie, and also Marilyn's not in the movie. The original cast members, they do play some cameos, but they're not distracting. This isn't Force Awakens where, remember Han Solo? Look at him old and gray. Remember Princess Leia? She's old and fat now. And washed up. And remember Luke Skywalker? Yeah, he's on a mountain and he's 90 years old now and he does nothing. You, J.J. Abrams. This is how you do it better. This is homaging, not ripping off or stealing from the original show. And you get the Munsters theme song at the very end. What's the problem here? Kenny's like, this is the worst movie ever made. Really? So this is worse than Morbius. Or Venom 2 last year. Or that god-awful Ice Age movie that came out earlier this year. It's not that. This is fun. If you want some Halloween fun this Halloween, something light that's not extremely dark or white trash the movie, this is definitely a film I would recommend. It's on Netflix, guys. It's not hurting the theaters like Bros. Look, 2 dicks are hitting. Isn't that hilarious? They're gay. Fuck you. I told you, I'm not gay. I don't want, none of the gay stuff was in this movie, and I'm so happy for it. I didn't need to see a gay Herman or a bisexual Herman. Didn't need that. Not necessary. Plus, Rob Zombie doesn't make a cameo here, so it's good. He keeps himself out of the movie. And it was fun. It's trending because people enjoyed it. It's not the worst thing ever made. Trust me. I've seen worse TV adaptations of classic shows be butchered to death. Look at freaking The Honeymooners. Look at Lost in Space. Oh my God, I hated that movie. Hated it. Hated it so much. Even Hulk. You can say that's an homage to the Incredible Hulk 70s show because it had the slow pacing, but it was so boring. Oh my God, Ang Lee's Hulk just hurt me so much. That's kind of an adaptation. Or Charlie's Angels, the one that recently came out. There's worse. There's way freaking worse, and they were in theaters, and they were boring. I like the 2 Charlie's Angels movies with what's their face, Cameron Diaz and the crew, because they were trying and they were doing something different. They turned it more comedic and action oriented. The original show was more serious. This was always a campy comedy, and it was fun, and I liked what I was looking at. Great practical effects, great makeup, real sets. It wasn't just let's plaster CGI all over the entire screen and it looks like a video game. No, that's coming in December with Avatar: Way of the Water. I'm not going to let that go. That looks like shit. That looks like a freaking video game. Here, I like seeing practical locations and people actually talking. Also, I forgot to mention the guy from Lost. Jorge Garcia as Floop. He did well. He did a lot better than Josh Gad in freaking Artemis Fowl. Here, he's not doing a stupid accent. Or that Batman voice. No, he does a really good job. For wearing that makeup and that beard, he does a really good job. He's a good actor. And I would get this movie on Blu-ray. Yeah, I would get it, and I would not be offended by it. I'll be damn proud to put that on my Blu-ray shelf. My sister loved it, and she's not into everything on Netflix, but it's fun. As a movie, it's nothing but loose ends or lukewarm stew of concepts that haven't been stirred enough to combine in the cauldron. Really. So, what were you expecting, guys? Yeah, and it says it. For better or for worse, Rob Zombie makes a Munster reboot he wants to see. Exactly. It's not I'm going to skull fuck you, Lily, or it doesn't have dirty sex jokes. It's not incredibly violent. Like, his other movies are incredibly violent. House of a Thousand Corpses, Devil's Rejects, the 33 or whatever. Yeah, he does movies that are insanely violent and really mean-spirited. This was definitely something lighter. Hell, my mom saw this. She could never watch his version of Halloween. She doesn't even like the original. But like I said, I had fun with it. The chemistry is there. The cast does really well. It made me laugh. It has a spirit of the show. What else do you want? You want the exact same thing from the 60s? It's a different era now, guys. What I find funny, you probably won't find funny. I did. I'm sorry. I'm not going to apologize for it. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I enjoyed this. Not top 10 of the year, but a nice honorable mention on my list. It could have been a lot freaking worse. It could have been an R-rated movie with a ton of blood and a ton of mean-spirited, crass humor that wasn't going to work. Here, it is what it is, guys. It is what it is. And I did like Herman and Lily's marriage proposal and all that. It was awkward, but it was fun. It was sweet. This is like the Addams Family movies. They're not masterpieces, but they're a lot better than they should have been. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Take care. If you don't want to see it, I get it. You know, it's like, it looks terrible. I don't care what Double Toasted think. I think this is a fun movie. I laughed. That's more than I could say with some other movies that are based on TV shows that insulted me as a fan. Because I loved Lost in Space, and they made some serious knockoff of Star Wars and Star Trek and butchered it. But here, I had fun. Say what you will about it, but I had fun with my family watching this. Anyway, thanks for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next review.